Welcome back to the Oblivious Maximus podcast. I'm Aaron.
And I'm Ben. How you doing today, Aaron?
Great. How are you? We're sitting right next to each other today.
Yeah, new format. New format for 2025.
Us next to each other.
You got to just change things up week to week and just see what happens. And, you know, change is about growth.
And that's what we've got Gaoled here to talk about.
What up?
How you doing, fellas?
Yeah, not too bad. Bit knackered.
Yeah, sick. Just for the listeners, introduce yourselves.
I'm Ben.
Yeah.
That's Ben.
Hello.
And I'm Micky. I do vocals in Gaoled, and Ben does guitar in Gaoled.
Sick.
And last night, dope gig.
It's huge.
Probably, as I heard from people who work for the Last Chance Rock and Roll Bar, 2 people said they'd never seen that many people there before. So that's hugely good feedback.
Sort of a diss on themselves there. I mean, great result for you.
Yeah.
But
Well, good result for the bar. Good result for us. Good result for the punters. Yeah, it was just rocking. Like we played there 2 years ago as well.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
it was a bit smaller, but yeah, last night was sold
and
out.
that must feel pretty sick, like, you know, coming all this way and it's like, fuck, killer show to
Yeah, it's
a
worth
big
it.
return.
Yeah, like having a good lineup, like just playing with your friends' bands, but then bands which are really good bands attract a lot of people.
Yeah.
There was a gig on earlier.
Yeah, did Enzyme play in the afternoon?
Yeah, I think they played about 6 o'clock or something because Exit Plume from Brisbane were over.
Yeah.
And they played on the Friday night and then did the afternoon show
Yeah.
yesterday.
Yeah, I think Enzyme were playing when I got there at like 5:30,
Okay.
and it was packed in there as well.
Yeah, sick.
I don't know if that one sold out, but it was pretty close, I'm guessing, because I couldn't get in.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
didn't have any cash to pay for it.
Well, I was like, obviously it sold out ahead of time, and Matt and I were both like, well, we're just going to go and we'll see what happens. And I don't know, he listens to this, so he'll be able to tell me later, but he definitely tried like 4 times to go in and got turned away every time. And he was like, what's happening here? We used to be when I existed.
We used to be a society.
The last time I existed a show there, and which is years ago now, but it sold out, and then as soon as it sold out, they just stopped doing the door.
Yeah.
So everyone just
It's
walks
sold
in.
out,
Yeah.
and so no more people can pay. So I guess the doors just open.
Yeah.
No, like one of my friends came up to me and he's like, oh, someone showed me the stamp out the front and he like drew it on and it looked pretty good. He's got like tattoos and stuff. So, and you kind of smudge it a bit and he's like, oh man, what if they don't let me in? I was like, man, I don't think the person on the door gives a shit. They don't look like they're really caring. Walk through, go like this and just keep walking. He's not going to leave the scene.
Yeah.
You'll be sweet. You're not taking money from the bands if it's sold out.
Yeah,
So
that's what I mean.
Exactly.
Come in and rock. I'm sure there's
anything-
liquor licensing issues, but you know.
We're not here to talk about that.
How many toilets they've got and exits and things.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, no, it was awesome. And like, I guess I was saying to, you know, because I think most bands when they come here just come here for a show and then go home. But obviously coming from Perth, like you have to make the trek worthwhile.
Yeah.
And the reverse, so like going to Perth, every band that goes to Perth basically does the 2 or 3 shows because
You have to.
you have to. Yeah.
It's just expensive.
Yeah. But like, so you guys haven't been here in a long time though, right?
Yeah, like I said, I think the last time was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
When No Future, Ben's other band, and Territory, my other band, came over as well.
Sick.
And I mean, we'd only had a demo tape and a flexi at that point. So
Yeah.
obviously wanted to come back to Melbourne. We
Yeah.
played Sydney last year. It's really hard for us to travel as well because our drummer, he's a school teacher.
Yep.
Yeah.
So he can only travel within school holiday times.
Now that you say that, now I'm like, every time I've played with you guys not in Perth has been in the school holidays.
Yeah. And it's a bit hard to navigate, but I mean, like, you don't have to travel. We can work around it.
Yeah.
But Matt from Agla is the same. He's a school teacher too. So and that's why like, you know, he's on holes right now. So he's just doing whatever he wants.
Rocking.
Yeah.
But we've managed to like, it's been real funny, like other than obviously weekend shows, but like every time we've done like a little trip, Matt has been on school holidays and it's just conveniently worked out that way. So, but Yeah, I mean, the other thing too that I was going to say is like so many people from Perth are here.
Yeah, there's like 20 people who came over because Total Defeat came as well because Ollie, our drummer, drums in that band as well. And Ben put out their LP, came out around the same time as our LP. And since we had these shows booked, the singer Sam was like, oh, do you think we could come to Melbourne as well? And I was like, yeah, fuck yeah. And then a bunch of other friends came over.
Sort of like a punk Kentucky.
Yeah. But then also there's heaps of Brisbane people because it's like Brisbane and Perth taking over Melbourne or some shit.
I guess people are just trying to get that last little summer like hang in as well.
Yeah. I mean, I've been back at work for like 3 weeks. Yeah, it sucks.
And you guys played in Brisbane a month ago, right?
Was it September?
Yeah, it's end of September.
I feel like time is moving.
Yeah. No, it was
so fast.
It was crazy because we did our launch like start of January and then we're like, oh, wait, like we hadn't jammed for about 2 months because it was like holidays and all that sort of shit. And we were like, oh, wait, when was our last gig? Oh, that was Brisbane. And I think we had, maybe 2 jams before we had our launch and then 1 jam before coming here.
Yeah.
Yeah, sick.
How was the launch in Perth?
It went off.
Yeah.
Again, it was just playing with a bunch of friends who attract a lot of people.
Yeah.
I think there was like 250 people there.
Yeah, that's awesome.
For Perth, pretty
all
good.
Local bands, wild.
Yeah.
The scene over there seems pretty like it's like cohesive. Like everyone kind of seems like they're supporting each other. Like particularly being there when was that? November, I think. Yeah,
October.
October,
Okay.
end of October.
Yeah.
It just seemed like I guess here things are a little bit more segmented, I suppose,
Yeah.
just because there's more of it, I suppose.
Yeah.
So much going on.
But it's kind of a nice thing to experience. Everyone's just in it all together.
Yeah.
Has that felt like organic or it just had to happen?
I think that there's been different periods when it hasn't really happened. Like, because I mean, I've been playing in bands for nearly 20 years and there would be a time where the sort of punk scene would be a bit different to the hardcore scene, but you kind of share bills with people, but you didn't really hang out. But I think right now, or over the past couple of years, like everyone kind of bonds together. There's not really any beef or anything like that. No one thinks they're better than anyone. You just want to play. And for Perth, there's been times where you get 40 payers to shows. Like,
I think
now it's like there's a lot more younger people and a lot of people bring their friends and
You got to have the young kids.
that's it. Yeah.
I think when I moved to Perth, which was like 2016, it was pretty chill. Like everyone was playing together, like, you know, punk and hardcore bands and different styles, and there wasn't any drama. But I remember before I moved down and I'd come to visit to go to gigs and it would be like 40 people at a show, and then, you know, a lot of drama and shit with
It's a bit of a us versus them.
Yeah.
My hardcore is not your hardcore. Which, I mean, I don't really kind of back that. It's like, if you don't like something that someone's into, like, just don't let it phase you.
Yeah.
It's not that hard.
just shut up.
Yeah. I mean, so where were you living before?
Tom Price, which is
hell.
in the Pilbara in WA.
Yeah, crazy. Is that where you grew up?
I was born in Tassie.
Yeah.
But then I moved there when I was like 11
True.
and did high school there and an apprenticeship there. And then when I finished that, I moved to Perth straight away.
Yeah.
So 2006 to 2016. So like 10 years up there.
Yeah, wild. That's crazy.
It sucked.
And so now you're a real Big Smoke guy.
Yeah, he's living in the utopia of Australia now.
No, but
Got to get around more South African people.
yeah, I mean, like, obviously we talked about it on here already, but like the Aglo, that like weekend was so sick, and I was like so stoked because I think I just messaged you and I was like, how do I get Aglo to Perth?
Yeah.
And then you were like, just message Carl.
Yeah.
Like he'll just. And then
Doing something.
And I messaged Carl and he was like, yeah, all good. Here's the details. And I was like, great. That was, that was very easy.
every year, Carl's like, oh, I'm not doing Obliteration Fest. I can't be fucked. And then
Everyone's like, you have to do it.
and
It's always
he
good.
gets punished into it, and he has all these ideas, asks people, and shit falls through. But then it's like, yeah, Aglo's coming, cool, awesome, I'll do it then.
The best was he prefaced, he was like, I'm about to put you in a group chat for the shows. And I was like, okay. And he was like, it's not going to be like normal shows.
It's a Perth
There's a
group
bit of
chat.
banter in there.
Yeah, you're just in a Perth group. You've just been brought into a Perth group
You're
chat.
gonna get perfed, man.
And it was like,
Sorry.
it was so funny though. I was like, every day I was like, this is like a nice lead up to the show, is me just laughing at my phone. And I think it was like within the second thing was like one of you guys giving him shit. And then it was like, this is good. Yeah. This is a good start to this thing. This guy's trying so hard to do well.
Yeah, and then I think I lashed you because it blew up my amp. And I was like, Aaron, I'm lending you my amp and you've blown it up. It worked fine before you touched it, dude.
The best was I have a real track record at the moment of going interstate, borrowing someone's head, and they're like, it's good. And then like then I'll turn it on. I'm like, I don't know what I've done here, but that's definitely not working.
It happens.
Yeah.
You said Aaron got Perth when he got added to, because that reminds me there's a few Perth specific, like Personality. I remember hearing that a few years ago. Because I was walking through Perth on that trip, and there's like a strip where there's like a bunch of, I guess it's like Perth stars, like Hollywood stars, and there's like the inventor of Wheels and Doll Baby had a star on this like.
What? Oh, is that up King Street or something?
Yeah.
I've seen that. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's where the Wheels and Doll Baby store is. So that's probably why there's a star there. Genius.
I felt weirdly starstruck. And weirdly horny. I was like, is it 2006 again?
But yeah, I mean, those, like, I guess the cool thing over there, I mean, and again, I've mentioned it before, but it to me, I always felt like a kinship with Perth because it felt like Canberra to me. Like, it was just like, well, every band is different and they're all playing. And, you know, when international bands come or touring bands come, you don't really have the option to be like, we want this style hardcore band or we want this style. You're just getting what you're getting.
Whatever's being brought over.
Yeah.
I mean, we like when hardcore was like probably back in like 2005, 2006, like Annihilate Music would bring a lot of the touring bands through, which was awesome. And gigs were like, they'd have 3 gigs on. And, you know, you'd go to Bunbury and things like that to cover it. So there was a lot of bands that came through, but the bigger bands, touring bands would always just skip Perth, like metal bands, shit like that.
And that was the same thing with Canberra for a long time until it's really until either a local band becomes like enormous or a venue becomes like reputable or something like that. And that's what drags people through. But I mean, I feel like, you know, I mean, I've definitely talked to you guys about it a lot, but like I've been to Perth in every band I'm in now, basically. And I don't think I've ever been in a show's been bad. Like even if it's 40 people, the show's still been good, even though. But even that being said, I reckon I've probably only played there like twice when the shows haven't been like massive. And, you know, probably the first time I went was a slow band. There was like one show that was kind of whatever, and then one show that was amazing. So it was worth going, you know. But I think the coolest thing is that lineup thing hasn't changed. It's always like, maybe there is a metalcore band, and then there is like, you know, a power violence band, and then there's this, and then that's the lineup. Like that's what you're getting. Like,
and I mean, friends with a lot of people who play styles of music I don't really listen to. It's like, check you on the bill. Like,
and most likely it's going to be like shared members as well, because that's
most people who play in bands in Perth play in like 2 or 3 bands. Yeah. And it kind of I don't think there's too many bands in Perth that actually sound the same at all. Because nobody wants to play in 2 bands that sound exactly the same. Yeah. So there's a good mix, and I find like bills where every band sounds very similar, very boring.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, and I think that was the thing that I always, you know, for periods in Melbourne, I would say sometimes when it isn't really popping, it's because all the bands just sound exactly the same, and like they're just, you know, eating their own tail really. Like the headline band is the best version, and as the show goes, the bands get better. Like, you know, which sucks because it just means that, well, I'm not going to watch the opener because they're
playing later.
They're playing later. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I think it's good to put on car park bands as well. Like, you know, you need to at least have every gig needs a car park band where you just like drink a Bundy in the car park during their set. But at the moment, there's so many good bands, so you can't really chuck.
There's no dinner break.
Yeah, there's like car park bands at the moment.
You got to get a flask.
That the Obliteration doing the 2 stages, because obviously my classic story of that venue, which we have talked about, is that when I walked in for that Extortion show, I was like, I've been here before. And you were like, yeah, you've played here in the back. And I was like, and it was the night that we all smoked that
Chronic,
synthetic
yeah.
weed.
Yes.
And we all like greened out on chronic. And I was like, it was true like Nam flashback shit. Like I was like, I have been in here.
Helicopters.
I need a beer quick.
But man, still, I think that's like, I have, I've got like my top 10 hangovers / most pissed. And I reckon watching Drowning Horse play while being like greening out on synthetic weed is like, that's locked in the bank. Like that's got a spot that's not going to get topped anytime soon.
Yeah,
I was just like,
definitely,
oh, fuck.
it'll make you feel like absolute shit.
What, Chronic or Drowning Horse?
But
The combo, the undeniable combo. But yeah, I mean, the setup in that venue of doing those two, like doing the floor stage and stuff is so sick. And like, I mean, did Kyle do that the first time it happened as well?
yeah, like I think past 3 years or something, it's been like that. And it just works out good.
Yeah.
But there's been other fests there like over the years where there has been 2 stages. It's just, it kind of sucks because you have to bring a PA down and set up that side of it. But
Yeah.
the big room is at Milk Bar is sick, but being so big, if there's not a lot of people there,
Yeah.
it kind of sucks.
Feels weird.
I mean,
The capacity's like 350.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
But the sound's great there.
Yeah. It was, I mean, now having, not the one time that I was in the fucking chronic hole.
Checking out in the Chronicle.
We've
all been there.
Yeah, the other 2 shows, I mean, the Extortion one and then the Fest was like, both of them were fucking mad. Like, it was so good. And
That
like,
Extortion show was mental. Like,
Yeah, a
that
Sunday
sold out
night.
on a Sunday night. Yeah.
yeah. Well, we were like, because we went over to do that benefit show.
Yeah.
And we were kind of like, obviously a benefit show, we're not getting paid. And we were kind of just like, well, we could definitely do something the next day. And also, because we didn't really play with the bands that Extortion is sort of more in the world of now.
Yeah.
Like we played with the bands that Extortion was in the world of 20 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it was still awesome. But then, that next day was like fully the most easy thing. Like, I mean, I think Kim booked it.
Yeah.
And like, I just messaged, or maybe Rowan messaged and was like, can you just book a show the next day? And I think, it didn't seem like anyone had to put in too much effort for it, really.
I think
and it was great.
Like in Perth, collectively, gigs have been very easy because putting on gigs is pretty piss easy.
Yes.
Not going to lie.
Yeah.
You just have to say, cool,
Can
one
you play?
person from this band, bring a drum kit.
Yeah.
Do you mind if other bands use it?
Yeah.
It is surprisingly easy for some people to fuck up though.
Yeah.
It is.
Well, some like touring companies that book things and they're like, hey, local band, can you do everything for me? We're like, all right, man. Like, I guess.
What do I get out of this?
Yeah. Literally nothing.
No, I love
one
setting up.
pint. Thank you.
I love setting
This is
up
a
in
good
front of
rider.
like a full touring backline, bring all your drum kit. You've got this much space on the stage. It's such a treat.
And you have to turn down because you're louder than the touring band,
Yeah.
and the sound guy's like, "You're not allowed to play that loud. You're louder than the touring band." Fuck off.
Yeah, that's their problem. That's not
Yeah.
my problem.
When did Gaoled start?
2021.
Yeah, something. Yeah, like early 21, I think.
Yeah.
And what was the, like, you just wanted to make something a bit harder, or is it just kind of came naturally?
Well, like I was playing in a kind of black death metal band called Self Harm, and we kind of stopped jamming for different reasons, and I was a bit bummed about that. I kind of wanted to do vocals again, because I used to do vocals in bands years before. Hadn't done it for about 5 years, so I just kind of started writing songs on my own. I had like sort of 2 ideas in mind. One was like a more sort of hardcore band, and then one was a sort of Gaoled riffs. I knew I was going to call it Jail or Gaoled.
Yeah.
And then, I just kind of recorded.
Sick name.
Yeah. I had it banked up for ages. And then I was like, this is what this project is going to be.
Just like Lars with Metallica.
Look, we're very similar. No, and then, I recorded probably about 4 or 5 songs just at home on my own. Booked a recording studio to try vocals again. Sucked ass. I heard like Nathan on the show the other week. He's like, man, if you've done vocals once, you'll always have it. And I'll tell you what, I fucking didn't. It took me ages to like
You're
try.
wrong, Nathan.
Well, hey, subjective opinion. But yeah, sent out the demos, and Ben was like, because I've known Ben for a long time, and he was interested. I knew that Ollie, because he drums in Self Harm as well. I was like, so you're gonna be drumming. And then,
Just gave him the call.
yeah. And then Ben suggested Gus, and it makes it easy when you've got 5 or 6 songs written already.
Yeah.
Sit down with the band, go through the songs, and sort of go from there. But
Yeah.
And Bestial Hardcore.
I think it's Bestial.
Bestial.
Because I think Bestial would be
Well,
more.
look, I think I don't know if you heard
bestiality.
me, I don't think if you heard me say "whoa" before, but I typed "bestial" into hardcore into Google, and yes, some results came up from X videos.
They're not my videos, are they?
After this, let's have a look.
Bring it up.
Hey, on the screen.
So Bestial Hardcore.
Yeah.
Because there's. I sort of did a bit of digging the other day because I'd heard war metal before.
Yep.
I used to live with Mikey Nolan, and there's a band a couple of years ago that was playing in Melbourne where the guitarist just wore sunnies on stage all the time. I was like, I don't know why I like that so much, but it's the coolest.
It's a staunch vibe.
It's the coolest thing ever. And then went on this deep dive of Bestial Warlust, the Australian band, and listened to them a bunch. And I was like, so it kind of has its roots in Australia like a long time ago, a little bit.
Like more than anything, it's like I kind of hate labels of bands.
Yeah.
It's like Gaoled is just a hardcore band. But
Yep.
when people are like, "Oh, this is power violence," is it really power violence? No, it's just like fast hardcore.
Yeah.
I just kind of want to label a band because I don't like labels. And
Yes.
It's like, no, this is. What does your band sound like? Bestial Hardcore.
And then naming every release the same.
Yeah, just,
Yes.
just to reiterate that that's what it is. Like, just in
Yeah.
case people ask what style of music is it's like, no, it's not metal. No, it's not grind. It's not power violence. It's Bestial Hardcore.
But it's sort of without knowing what it is, you know what it is.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's got a pretty, like, you can read it and make an assumption of it. But like, I remember I used to work in offices like years ago, and people would be like, "Oh, so like, you play in bands, you must be pretty big, hey, if you're playing gigs all the time." And then be like, "Oh, what style of music do you play?" And I'd just be like, "Oh, D-beat, raw punk." And they're like,
Disclose.
What's that? So punk, like Sum 41. I'm like, "No, I kind of like Disclose, like Frampton, like Declone you." And they're just like, "No," I'm like, I mean, you wouldn't know what I sound like." It kind of cuts the conversation off easier.
Well, we were talking about this last night, how like when you, like I started a new job about a year ago now, but like how long until you get the like, so what's it sound like? And then you're like, you always have to just be like, have you heard Metallica? Because that's, I mean, it's like that.
Have you seen
Sort
some kind of monster?
Yeah.
That's what we do.
Yeah, we do that. We pay band members $1 million to join our band.
Did you watch the Parkway Drive Australian story?
Fuck a rock.
This is what we do. Has the everything being titled the same thing caused drama on the digital releases yet?
Hopefully.
I don't think so.
It hasn't? That's good.
I haven't like.
I think on
Done
the
anything
LP, like the songs which were on the demo on Spotify and shit like that, it says brackets album version.
You didn't do that?
No. Like,
Oh wow,
I
that's
think
wild.
Jensen, Iron Lung
Iron
put
Lung
up
uploaded
like
it.
all the digital streaming and shit.
Yeah.
Like,
But-
they did the same thing for the No Future LP, and like 2 of the songs we re-recorded from the Flexi have that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
But
Maybe
that,
Jensen did it.
That was another thing that I was like, with Bestial Hardcore, naming everything the same thing. It's like, let's fuck up the algorithm.
Yeah.
Dude.
This is going to be so confusing. And people are like, "Oh, so is this a re-release of the other thing?" It's like, no, it's new. It's the Bestial Hardcore LP. All right.
I noticed that I think Jensen put up a video for one of the songs on his YouTube, and like I was watching it, and like the first comment was like, "So like, what the fuck? Do they just name every release Bestial Hardcore?"
Yeah.
Yes,
cunt.
it's
yeah,
fucking
and
annoying.
I replied and was just like, "Yeah, pretty obvious." Like, can you read?
That is what we've done here. I've been prior to, because so obviously when I joined Extortion, a bunch of the stuff wasn't on streaming stuff.
Yep.
And Rowan just simply didn't know how to do it. That's why it wasn't there. And I was like, I can get it all up there if you want. And he was like, yeah, that'd be good. And then me and Jay got like fully in the lab with fucking Spotify because like I was trying to change whoever put up, maybe Resist or whoever put some of the old ones up, all the dates were wrong.
Oh.
So it was like, it appears that like the demo is the first thing, or is like the most recent thing. And I was like having to like email Spotify and getting them to change the dates on. It was so fucking annoying. Anyway, and then when we put up I think when we put Seething out, when we put that up, there's a song on it that's like 9 seconds long, and the whole record kept getting declined, and like it wouldn't allow it on. And then again, I had to like go back and forth with them, and then they were like, the reply was like, this keeps getting flagged as spam because songs aren't that long. Like songs need to be longer than that. And I was like, I don't know what to tell you. They don't have to be longer than that. But then the crazy thing is, again, not that it matters, but like Extortion gets like we get like really low play count, because if a song is under 30 seconds, it doesn't register as a count, like as a play. So
that's like 3/4 of the back catalog.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. That's like, so and like we were talking about it at band practice, and Jay's like, we got to start writing songs that are 30 seconds. Like
31 seconds.
We got to get these plays up.
Hack the algorithm.
Yeah.
It's like, we can't play it slow. We're just going to have to do another repetition of something.
Yeah. And I mean, my crowning achievement with the band really was convincing them to do a music video for a song that went for 30 seconds. Because I was like, this is the perfect size for an Instagram reel.
Yep.
Like, the whole video is in the reel. Like, but you know, I'm taking the credit for bringing Extortion into the 21st century.
Into the digital world, baby. We do this shit for Instagram.
Exactly. Why do you think I'm here?
So Televised Suicide has existed for a little while now. How's that been, that experience of like running that side of things? Is it just a bit of a passion project? It seems like it's going really well at the moment.
Yeah, it's kind of taken off a lot more in the last few years. And
Yeah.
but I started it in 2014.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was when I was living in Tom Price, and I was like, well, I can't play in bands because no one here wants to
Do anything.
listen to any music, and they just want to go to work and go to the pub.
Yeah.
Which was what I was doing as well.
Not in the right way.
Yeah, not in the good way. Like, so yeah, I was just like, fuck, well, I just have to start a label, I guess, because it's the only way I can be involved in any kind of music stuff, because it's either that or playing an AC/DC cover band, which my dad still asks me to do. Like, you can get paid $500 a gig.
Save that for the back half of your life.
Yeah, I'll do that when I'm 50.
I'll do that when I can play guitar. But yeah, the last few years it's really like gotten more attention and shit. So I'm fucking always busy. Like, get home from work and it's just like, I gotta pack all these fucking records.
Yeah, and like Ben lives at 208, and we jam at 208, which is like a house in Maylands, been around for like 20 years.
Yeah.
But when a new record comes out, we're like, what the fuck is going on? Like, we're trying to jam and there's just shit everywhere. There's fucking boxes, Televised Suicide. What are you doing?
Making a maze.
Yeah. How much of the house does that take up now? Heaps.
Yeah. Like upstairs, like in the bedroom, is probably half just boxes and shelves and stacks of cardboard.
That's fucking crazy.
I actually just got some fucking mailers delivered on the day we left. Just like left them in the middle of the living room. Like, I'll be back on Monday to deal with this, but just leave this stack of cardboard in the corner.
Just use it as a coffee table for now. Yeah.
This is furniture. How often are you guys doing shows at the house now?
We haven't had one since
Never.
March.
Yeah, right.
Last year. Like,
Crazy.
yeah, that one was just, I think there was probably like 150 people there.
Yeah.
And really, you can only fit like 80 people
Yeah.
in 208 to make it, comfortable. But
It
You can
kind of
squeeze.
got to a weird point where it's good that young people come, but you don't know the young people.
Yeah.
There's people under 18, like, 15, 16-year-olds getting pissed in the car park, smoking bongs, like next to the like bakery that's like shares the block, not having respect. There'd been a few accounts of just dumb shit, and we only knew like a quarter of the people going to shows at that point. And it's our job to police that because, it's our space. So we have to do that. But then if there was a kid who, like something happened to them and they were drunk and their parents were like, where were you? Come knocking on the door, and Kim's like, this is a house. And it's like, no, you're you run this venue and all that sort of
Yeah.
shit. And people start thinking it's a venue and a place that you can just get fucked up and not there to respect the space. And so it's like we can't really police that. The only way to really do it is by not having shows, which is a bummer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
but
a hard-
hopefully people appreciate it when it comes back because it's like, well, you know, if you're gonna fuck around and try and, you know, they're all like kids are having fun and getting fucked up. Like we all do that.
Yeah.
We've all done that, but hopefully having the break, they'll be like, yeah,
Learn to like appreciate it a bit more.
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, because I remember when, so the like obviously the first when Extortion like started up again, we played that the little fest thing was like the first show that we did, and I just remember Rowan being like, well, we have to do a 208 show, like that has to be how the band starts again.
But that was cool because it wasn't announced as well. It was just
it was, but I mean, it was fucking packed. Like there was a ton of people there. But I think because it wasn't like announced and it was just people talking about it, it really only was people who were kind of like
there to see the music.
Knew what the deal was and stuff.
Yeah.
But
I think that's
which
what
is
we'll
a bit
do.
gatekeepy, which kind of sucks. But at the same time,
I mean, it's hard. It's at a certain point though, like particularly if stuff has been going wrong or people have been doing fucked stuff, like you kind of just have to fall back onto like the way it should be or was or whatever. And I think, I mean, obviously for those guys like Rowan and Jay in particular, like I think, 208 means a lot to them because the band started there essentially, so like they were really keen to do that. And then, I mean, obviously that's been the one recent one, but like, I mean, it was always just so fun doing it.
It's like one of the best play. Like me growing up playing gigs when I played my first show there, I was like, this is living. Like I've made it. And then like been jamming there for years and played there many times over the years, and they're always the most fun shows. But I mean, there's younger kids are putting on shows at skate parks now, sort of guerrilla shows where they bring a PA, because I mean 208 was the only all ages venue pretty much in Perth for probably 10 years because HQ wouldn't allow certain shows and they charged $2,000.
And it was heaps of money, right?
Yeah, it was like $2,000 because I think an Evergreen Terrace concert, 4 people got their noses broken and taken to hospital. And so they were like,
Checks out.
we have to have this many security on board. And so you have to charge $40 a ticket.
Yeah, fuck.
Crazy.
So prohibitive for kids too, for a ticket to be that expensive. I mean, because again, like when I first started going there, we would always play an HQ show.
Yeah.
Or 208 or whatever, so that it encouraged one of those things. But I mean, I remember stopping playing at HQ because the last time we did it, I mean, I think we were at the show and someone was like, well, so this show has just made $0. And it was like packed. And it was like, what do you mean it's made $0? And it was like, well, we had to pay for this and we had to pay for this. And I was like, that's when that fucking all ages stuff that really grinds my gears is when like, this is meant to be easy for kids to access. All these costs that you're putting is so prohibitive for them to actually access this music.
Yeah,
like,
you're not doing anything for the youth. You're making it harder. Yeah, I remember Shackles and Legions came over.
Yeah.
That was probably one of the last sort of gigs that I went to at the main HQ, and they kind of stopped putting on gigs anyway. But there was probably 40 payers.
Yeah.
and it was $25 entry. A band from Brisbane, a band from Sydney.
Yeah.
Obviously it didn't cover anything.
Yeah.
It was fucked. But there was, like a gig at the Rosemount and one at 208 as well, which maybe kind of recouped a bit. But you try and do something for the kids, but it's...
The fucking system fucks you.
Yes. Fuck you, government.
So, but are those skate park shows that they're doing, is that in the same skate park?
There's a half pipe behind the actual band area.
Yeah.
And they just set up PAs in there. And so it's not really legal, but police come and they know that like the skaters respect the space.
Yeah.
There's usually only 3 bands on. Everyone cleans up their rubbish, like no glass, all that sort of stuff. The people organising it share that sort of sentiment. And
I guess you have to have people all in the same mindset for it to kind of work. Like,
definitely.
I think that's like there was a lot of house shows here like back in the day. And I guess there are still some now and then. I think there's probably more like generator shows now because it's like, well, if it's not someone's space, it's just space.
Yeah.
Then at least everyone will kind of pitch in and help out. Whereas if it's like a house, I guess there is sometimes that attitude of like, fuck it, it's not my place.
Yeah. Like, I don't have to do anything.
Slowburn played a house show. I think it was like maybe the third time Slowburn came to Melbourne. We played a house show with Miles Away, and it was like, we obviously had, were good mates with those guys and stuff and playing very similar music. But there was like, it was at that house in North Melbourne, and there was a fucking police chopper got called because there were so many people like drinking on the street, like literally just poured out into the street. And I think they were like, there's some sort of like riot happening or something. And I was like, and yeah, this police chopper came and was like, had a spotlight on the house and everyone's out in the backyard like, oh, fuck. Like,
I'm over 18. Oh, no.
That's going to happen at 208 next gig.
Yeah, probably.
So what's the vibe after this weekend's shows? Like, you got more things coming up at the minute or not really?
Who gives a shit?
Something?
See what happens. Yeah.
No, we've like recorded. We're doing a split release, so we've recorded the instruments for that. I'll probably do the vocals next week, and then probably record some more stuff. We've got a few gigs coming up.
Yeah.
Do we?
GBH.
Oh, that's right,
we're
yes.
playing with Speed as well, and
And
I literally thought we had nothing after this.
Your calendar's full, brother.
your house is full.
updated.
Your calendar's full.
you got to pack those records, motherfucker. Get home.
Yeah, no. So I mean, we're just going to write some music. I think Gus is moving to Melbourne halfway through the year. So,
Oh, true.
which is a bummer because I don't want to lose a friend, but
Yeah, I've been crying about that.
yeah, he's been fucking soaking hard. And I've been doing it where most people do it in the shower when you're sitting down on the floor.
Alone. Yeah, smart.
You've just been doing it in public.
Yeah,
shaving
just
him.
after, a lot of beers. Like Friday night. New Year's, when I got home, had a party, had a big breakdown.
Crying fucking rocks anyway. It's
That's the time
so
for it.
backed.
Yeah.
So backed.
That's how you get through things. guys.
New Year's Eve, pissed out of your brain. Have a cry. No better way to start the year.
New year, new me, crying. This is what I do now. I'm a crier.
You got to be in touch with your emotions. Let it out.
Dead set.
Yeah.
Just have to have heaps of beers before.
But yeah, I mean, we don't really have any idea about doing tours or anything like that. We're just going to finish this recording, play a few local gigs. I mean, why would you want to leave Perth anyway?
Yeah.
Exactly.
We're just trying to get more bands to come to Perth.
Yeah. This is just an ad campaign to drag more bands over.
Play Perth, don't play Freo.
Freo, notoriously difficult to get to for people from Perth.
Yes.
Yeah, like I put on a show for White Horse there, and they're like, we really want to play Freo. I'm like, look, the venues there are good, but getting there is hard. Parking is impossible. And it will give me an aneurysm.
And the Bon Scott statue is
shorter
life-size.
than no, it's short. It's like it's this much shorter than the actual Bon Scott.
Really?
Who was tiny.
Yeah, I mean he was tiny, but it's like I looked it up on Wikipedia. And it's like, is it to scale? And then it was like, no, it's like 3 inches shorter. It's like why did they waste time making this fake marshal lamp he's standing on and just make him actual to scale size?
Not enough bronze getting around.
Man, they do it differently in Freo. I tell you what, like if that was in Perth, it would be a different story.
I remember the first selling point to Freo when we went over there, like, the Little Creatures brewery's there. And I was like, it's
pretty good.
It's
good.
I like going to breweries. That's good. And then we got there and they're like, you got to see it all down here. Little Creatures Brewery, Bon Scott, end of list.
Yeah.
Like,
Cicerello's.
When I went down there was an Italian festival.
Oh, yeah.
On the Sunday.
you got
after.
surprised by an Italian festival.
And it was
I remember
going
seeing your
off.
videos.
They were like carrying this big, like, I thought someone had died. It was like a state funeral. But it was like some big hoo-ha going on. It was fucking sick.
I wish I was there.
Yeah.
But I don't go to Freo, so I'm never going to see this sort of shit.
Yeah, you caught the train, right?
I got a bus down there. Yeah.
Fuck.
Transperth.
Oh,
It's not
what from where were we saying?
Como?
Como,
Como,
yeah.
yeah.
Beautiful, gorgeous Como.
Yeah,
is where we were
my
staying.
mum lives in Como.
There you go.
What did
Shout out
someone
to my
say?
mum. She'll watch this.
Someone said, the building near there, someone threw themselves off the other week.
Yeah, I think Tom, because Tom Sweetman lives like around there too.
Yeah.
And he was like, where are you staying? And I told him, he's like, oh, that's just like a FIFO like hotel, and sure enough, it was like every person in there other than us was like
High vis.
and we looked out and every balcony had high vis just like flapping in the wind. But yeah, I think he was like, oh yeah, someone jumped off that balcony the other day. I was like, gorgeous down here.
That's FIFO.
Yeah, it was, but man, beautiful place to be. So if you take anything away from this podcast, it's you got to go to Perth, don't go to Freo.
Look, you can go to Freo if you want. No, I'm just not going with you.
I'm staying at home.
Saving my petrol money, saving my parking costs. Fuck that. If you give me a lift, I'll go.
Yeah.
Put it that way.
That's how you're getting Mickey down.
Yeah. If you give me a lift, I'll definitely hang out.
And you got any other things coming up with for the label? Any new shit coming soon you can talk about or no?
The Solex 7-inch.
Yep.
Which is like a new band from Adelaide.
It rocks.
Punter LP,
Cool.
which is like stuff they've recorded like a couple years ago because Nathan moved to Europe,
Yeah.
but that should be out in a couple of months. And what else is there? Hex have recorded an LP, but
Sick.
still figuring out what we're doing for artwork and everything with that.
Yeah.
I haven't told anyone really, but been working on doing a reissue of the Jaws LP
Oh, fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah.
with the demo as well.
That rules.
So
If anyone's got any Jaws photos, send them to Televised Suicide because Ben's trying to fucking.
yes.
I'm sure people would have a ton of that shit, right?
Yeah, that's probably why I should start telling people. And, like asking. I've asked a few people like Rowan and
Yeah.
like Adam from Annihilate Music and got
Yeah.
a bunch of photos and
Oh, dude, he's been posting some insane photos
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
Facebook.
So-
He used to have like a website years ago. It was like a GeoCities or something like
Yeah.
that. It was like Perth hardcore, but from like probably late 90s, early 2000s. And
Yeah.
like when I was a like mad nerd, I mean, I still am, but I'd go through that. I'm like, oh, there's photos of all in deep shit. And fucking
Yeah.
for me, this fucking rocks. He's got a good archive of
He
like-
does.
Yeah.
And I think his photo, he has that crazy photo of Maud's moshing that he's like, looks like an absolute lunatic wearing camo shorts. It's great.
Maud's used to be a fucking hard mosher.
In the pit.
Yeah. YMCA crew, shout out.
I can't remember. He posted some set of photos recently that was like a Mind Snare show or something, and it's like one I often forget that that's how Mind Snare used to look. Like they're older men now, but in one of those sets of photos was I think a photo of Rowan and those guys, and like seeing a photo of like Reese looking like a child and Rowan looking like real.
Rowan probably had pink hair. Or something.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, like real crazy punk Rowan, like, which now is so funny to think that that's what he used to look like. I think there was one of him wearing like tartan pants, and I was like, this fucking rules.
Bring him back, Rowan.
Stop wearing just standard black Kmart clothes.
Aaron, I reckon if you start wearing the tartan pants, then Rowan might be like, "It's a good aesthetic for the band.
Tartan
I'm bringing him back, babe."
If they made tartan like
Camo.
cargo short, that'll be my style.
Brick and mortar taking over.
Yeah, that's what we need. Streetwear to make it cool.
Tartan camo.
Then in 2 years they'll sell it at Kmart, and then I can buy it. Dope. Well, thanks for coming on the pod, boys.
An absolute pleasure.
Thanks very much.
And see you in Perth, and see you at the show we're playing in like a couple hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have to do that. You got anything you want to promo? Oh, your Comedy Fest show.
Yeah, I'll just be promo on that for now until it happens. It's called Punk Music. It's at Cooper's Inn, April 8th to 20th for 2 weeks. No
Oh
Mondays.
shit! I'll be in Melbourne.
Hey, get on down.
Coming down.
This is why we do this.
Slinging records.
Yeah.
Punk music comedy fest.
So that
Yeah,
that'll-
set up a merch table at the.
yeah, get on down. So that'll be me. What about you, Aaron?
I don't think I have anything coming up really that
Any
I
Aglo shows?
tonight with
Tonight.
tonight's show with Gaoled. No, nothing I can say yet. Soon I will. Probably in a really
Big things coming.
announcement coming soon for Aglo. No, I'm going to put out a new Aglo record.
Yeah, sick.
I'm doing it. I've decided.
Just now.
Well, I paid for it the other day, so it's happening. I'm definitely doing it. But I'll put stuff on the internet about that soon.
We put the pod shirts up.
We did put pod shirts up. If anyone wants them, it's on our website, obliviousmaximus.net.
Yep.
Got to fix some things on that site too.
Hey.
But that's okay.
If you know how Squarespace works, hit us up.
Yeah, if you want a job to do, DM us. All right, that's it. Thanks for coming, guys.
Thanks
Pleasure.
for coming.
Peace out. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.